All right, I'm starting to record right now, so I'll just edit it. Just heads up, I'll probably just do the editing for the audio, and then if Mike wants to master it, since I gotta edit the video anyways, I could just turn it.
I know that's now all you.
Yeah,
we're just using the audio on the video.
Yeah, so I pretty much probably just gonna.
Now I can just worry about artwork.
I'll let you do the hosting, and I'll do the editing. How about that?
Sounds good.
I'm ready.
I just gotta
emotionally
look at the camera at least. Okay. I'm just trying to think how.
No. You take your time.
Yeah.
I'm here. Imagine me like reaching my hand and placing it on your lap. Like it's okay. We'll get through this.
Okay. I'm gonna start.
No. Okay, this is the one.
Okay. Hello. I'm.
And fuck you.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna do it this time.
Hello, and welcome to Limited Edition, a series in which we take a game and talk about it through several episodes. On this series, it's going to be about Kingdom Hearts, and episode 1 is subtitled Deep Dive. I'm here joined by Jake Palmer.
What up?
And with a very special guest, Alex, I forgot your last
O'Neill. Oh, geez. Oh, God. We're here. You should have just said Alex and I yell O'Neill at you, and it's fine.
Right?
Yeah. This is going to be great content right here.
My last name doesn't matter. What matters is Goofy.
That's right.
Yes.
It's all about Goofy.
So in the first episode of Kingdom Hearts, we're going to discuss Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, the HD remix. So before we actually go into talking about the game, I'm just going to do a quick story overview of what happens during the events of the game.
Sure.
No,
Take me on a journey.
So the game opens up. You have a CG interview. We're off to a great start. You have a CG opening with Utada. What's her last name? Hikari.
I'm bad with Japanese.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna butcher it.
It's like it's just like a poppy, almost like techno beats in there. But I remember that song from the commercial, and that's actually what made the game. This whole CG interlude of Sora basically falling into underwater, it looks like, and then he lands on a mural of Disney characters. So at the start of the game, you are in Destiny Islands, which is where Sora grew up, and there's Final Fantasy characters there. Titus.
Waka.
Your boy Waka.
Waka.
Selfie,
Waka.
whose name did not age well.
So true.
And then you have Sora's friends, which are original characters to the game. You have Riku and Kairi, which are also very important to the plot of the game. Everything seems nice and peachy. They're all getting ready. They're going to gear up. They're going to go out for an adventure on the seas. But then everything kind of goes to hell. The entire island just swallowed up by the darkness, the Heartless. It's the same. And Sora is lost in space, basically. And then he wakes up in this place called Traverse Town, which kind of just looks like this old, like, almost, I don't want to say medieval, but like just after the turn of the century of medieval, except there's electricity. And he wakes up to none other than Pluto the dog licking his face.
The only Pluto actually ever needed.
Exactly.
And it's there that he meets another cast of characters, more Final Fantasy characters, and also who are going to be joining him for the rest of his travels, Mr. Donald and Goofy.
Yes. And Donald does not wear any pants in this game, just so you know.
Donald never wears pants.
No pants.
Big butt, man.
No pants. This is a no pants zone in this game.
Except he always wears a shirt.
Yeah, he always wears a shirt. No pants.
It's
it's a very cute shirt too. It's got
It is.
little sailor buttons and all that. Zippers. Everyone's got zippers all over their body because Tetsuya Nomura was like, "No, it needs more zippers."
Definitely a topic in Kingdom Hearts 2 because there are more zippers.
Oh God.
Yeah. But so soon, Sora and Donald and Goofy team up. They realize that their quests are actually linked together, and they are off to find Riku, Kairi, and King Mickey to save the universe. Well, Sora's just in it just to
Save the
save his-
world.
save his
Save-
friends.
Save the worlds.
Plural.
Aren't rules part of the universe?
I mean, I honestly, with Kingdom Hearts, I don't know, dude.
You never know. You never know.
Are we getting metaphysical? Are worlds now just different dimensions?
They could be. Well, now you see, they were all connected, but then the hopes of children of the hearts of light. Nah, never mind. We'll get to that later.
This is going to be deep, everyone. This is going deep. This is why it's called Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you spend most of your time in the game traveling from different world to different world. Almost all of them, actually, yeah. There's only 2 worlds in the game that aren't Disney based. Well, 3 including Traverse Town.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Traveling with Donald and Goofy on the Gummy ship, the beloved Gummy ship.
And those missions.
Which there's still no explanation for the gummy ship.
Nope.
I know, like, we're not there where we're talking about stuff yet, but why does the gummy ship exist?
I love how
why
you,
is it that Donald can pick up a gummy block, and when you put chips together, like there's only 60 blocks. If you hold a block in your hand, how big is the ship?
Well, I imagine it expands. Like, gummy can stretch, right? That's
once it
That's what
touches
I was-
space, once it touches space, it expands.
yeah. Once it touches that raw space energy,
They didn't mention this in the tutorial at all, so
No, it has not been mentioned.
no.
Throughout the game, we get interstitials about Riku. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. In the final mix version of the game, which that's based upon, you get interstitials of what Riku's up to while you're on your quest. And you see further and further that Riku's falling into darkness, which he doesn't really realize. And then he gives in to Ansem, and Ansem takes over his body.
You
we're
little
like, who's this handsome kid?
Ansem. You have to go through a lot of games to figure out who this Ansem kid actually is.
You think you're gonna get the full answer in 2, but then it's like you got pieces.
Literally, you don't actually know until Dream Drop Distance what actually happened.
Which I haven't finished that one yet. So that'll be fun.
It's a whole mess, man.
So
There's already so many layers.
don't
Because
worry.
Apparently that's not even Ansem.
Don't worry. There. Oh boy, this is definitely gonna be a deep dive episode. There's just so much to
Yeah.
unpack.
You gotta save Ansem for like episode 4, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Ansem's gonna get his own
We
episode.
can say what Ansem was to us, what we believed Ansem was.
Right.
Before we got all messed up later in the games. So you come to conflict with Riku finally at Hollow Bastion, which was a terror of a world.
yeah.
I'm talking about when you're fighting up on the balconies.
When you're climbing that external area for 4 years.
When you
the
go
longest
to
area
when you
ever.
go to do an aerial attack on a wyvern and then you drop down to the bottom, you're like, awesome, thanks, this is great.
This is what I wanted.
That's
Thanks.
why I
Yeah.
didn't grind there. That was not a good place to grind.
No, it's not.
Enemies take too much damage.
Yep.
So you come face to face with Riku, and you have a big fight because you're trying to save Kairi. You defeat Riku, but then you find out it's not really Riku, it's some dude in Riku's body. This all sounds very weird.
Well,
Very,
well.
Welcome to Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
bordering,
Yes.
yeah, bordering on things we don't need to touch. That dude runs away. Okay. Kairi is seemingly just comatose, so Sora actually gives her his heart, right?
Nope.
No, he gives her heart that's inside of him.
That's in
because
his heart.
she
Yeah.
That's
has
yeah.
his heart.
Yeah. Because Sora has Kairi's heart in him, which is how he was able to survive, and then he gives it back, And
which
that's
makes
where
him
we get into a
become
whole bunch of
heartless.
mess.
Yeah, like literally the act of doing that. Who would have thought that would have created an actual nightmare? No, you see here. I'll give you some setup. Kyrie had a spell cast on her when she was a child that if she was ever in danger, her heart would flee her body to someone that she could trust. And we don't know that until later. That's fine.
Of course.
And also something I realized while playing the game again recently, like a couple weeks ago, Sora has all these like flashbacks to Hall of Bastion, Reigning Guardian, whatever. And he's having those because Kyrie's heart is in his, which is something I didn't appreciate.
Those were in the original, right? Those were.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool. I thought that's actually a cool touch. It made me appreciate that whole Kyrie's heart is in Sora's heart a little bit more.
So this next part, I still get confused on. So
Heartless part.
So Sora then turns into an heartless because he no longer has a heart.
Has a heart.
So he's just a regular. First off, the dude's strong. So how is he just a random, just normal heartless?
No, the thing is, like the heartless that you become is dependent on how much darkness is in your heart.
Okay.
Because it's the physical embodiment of the darkness in your heart. So he's like the lowest
because he had
on the ladder because he has barely any darkness in his
right.
heart. His body doesn't technically turn into a heartless though. We know what happens to that.
Right.
But we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
His heart, the shadow in it comes out and forms around the heart, and that is what the heartless is.
Mm-hmm.
So, he runs around as a heartless for a little bit. It's very cute. It's very adorable. And then Kyrie turns his heart back into his body, which is also super important, as it turns out, that he has lost his body. You're getting into that dream drop distance stuff right now, Matt. So you can tell me about that in a little bit, which is to say 6 episodes, because you won't understand it probably until then.
Man,
this is totally real. Like
this.
Losing your heart, losing your body, and becoming just a floating heart at some point in your life is important to the plot of Dream Drop Distance. I'm not kidding.
Oh my God, it didn't seem like that when you first started playing that game either.
Because a heartless is a heart, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So his heart encased in shadow, Kyrie helps bring the light back out, and it turns back into his body, which I don't think has ever happened to anyone else. I want to point that out there.
Yeah.
So. Another thing that makes Sora special.
Oh, there's going to be
And
more
after
questions
that-
when Birth by Sleep comes into play.
And after that, the gang just teams up. They go to the end of the world to close the darkness, fight Riku, save Riku's body, destroy Ansem, and we end the game. And we have to say goodbye to everyone.
But we finally see Kingdom Hearts.
Actually.
Kingdom Hearts. Quotations.
The heart to darkness, the door.
The door to darkness.
That is light.
See, the way I interpreted Ansem being smoked by the light in the heart in the world of darkness, and you guys can agree or disagree with me here. I don't know how you'll fall on it. Was that like it's kind of like the inverse of the heart, right? Like there's a little darkness in every heart. There's a little light in every darkness, right? So it's just that little bit of light that escaped that was powerful enough to destroy Ansem at the end there, in that great darkness. They kind of say it like that, but that wasn't Kingdom Hearts, I guess.
I'm actually just realizing they didn't say anything in the first game.
Yeah,
No.
They left it open,
Yeah.
so that they could be like, no, let's make this buck wild.
Yeah. We're going to give you the answer in 2. Just kidding. We're going to have side stories.
We're gonna have a lot of side stories, actually. But then that's Kingdom Hearts 1.
But that is Kingdom Hearts.
They get a letter from King Mickey, and they're off to their next adventure.
That's right. And that next adventure, we will talk about next episode, because this is all about 1 and Final Mix.
Okay. Alex, you take it away. How do you feel? I can't talk. How do you like this game?
What do I like about Kingdom Hearts 1? Well, I'm glad you asked, man.
Strap in, everyone.
I really like this game. Here's the thing. So I actually played Kingdom Hearts 2 first.
Oh.
And I went back and played 1. Like I played when I originally played Kingdom Hearts 1, I was very young. And I played up until Riku, like that first fight with Riku in Hall of Bastion. Not even like the one that you fight like right after you get Donald and Goofy back. So not like the one where he has the Keyblade and all that, but that I couldn't beat him, so I gave up. I quit as a child. So then eventually I would go and play Kingdom Hearts 2. It was a couple years later. I was a little bit older, and I liked how it played a lot more. I liked the drive system specifically. And I eventually would go back and play and finish 1 after a long time, honestly. And I was like, okay, this game's fine, but I didn't love it. I don't love the magic system. I don't love how it plays as much. Going back and playing it a few weeks ago, I really had a much better appreciation for it. I think it's really ambitious in a lot of ways, and you can see when you play Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 2 how some of that ambition was lost because it was like a much faster. It was like 3 years between those two. It was much faster turnaround time, much shorter development time. Like the cool thing about 1 is, forgive me, folks, I'm a little sick. There is way more depth to each world, right? It's way more. You could even say it's like a little bit Metroidvania like, in that like you're exploring a world and then you'll get like high jump and glide, and you'll be able to come back and get treasure chests and stuff that you missed before, or the different Trinity stuff. They were clearly playing around with like abilities to unlock new items and new equipment. The enemy stuff, like where you have like those very special, unique enemies that you have. They either have like a gimmick or you have to do something special to beat them. Like there's one of those in each world, and they're all pretty cool and different. There's just a lot of uniqueness to each world. There's a lot of specific charm put in each level, and the levels are a lot bigger and wider, and there's more exploration, right? Like this area has like 3 or 4 different entrances and exits. It's a lot of like those gameplay things that I really appreciated about the game going back to it. As a kid, it was just like, it's fantasy, it's Kingdom Hearts, it's Disney, two things I love. Between like Square Enix Final Fantasy stuff and Disney stuff. But I guess I didn't really appreciate what it's going for. And like, say what you will about the Kingdom Hearts story and how mucked up it gets. Like, I still like it today, and I liked it a lot then. Kingdom Hearts 1 is a very straightforward,
Right.
kind of linear narrative. And it doesn't get too out there, right? A lot of the things that we're saying that are out there are stuff that like becomes out there because the decisions
It came
made
later.
on.
Yeah.
And like I said, even those decisions, I'm not like upset about or anything. I like how weird and complicated it gets, but I also like Metal Gear Solid. So
Yeah.
in my opinion, what I've always said to people about the Kingdom Hearts story is, if the Kingdom Hearts plot is no more complicated than the story of the 7 Harry Potter books. In that, as you get further in, it gets like more complicated and weird.
Sure.
And the way it introduces like different ideas, or like, oh, this person was actually doing this whole time, is very similar to that story. So if you like that story, I think you'll like this one. But yeah, it's really jolly. It's really hopeful. Sora is just a really lovable character. What I don't like, going back to it, is like Sora, Donald, and Goofy never really feel like friends throughout Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
Especially Sora and Donald. And I know that's like a plot point. And they feel a lot closer in Kingdom Hearts 2, for whatever reason. But like Sora and Goofy, you can see like he's kind of like a caretaker. He like looks after Sora in a little bit of a way, and Donald's all always like pushing back against him. So that's something I didn't like going back to it. But I don't know. There's just like a youthful charm to Kingdom Hearts that still holds up to this day, in addition to all the cool, unique mechanic things it was doing at the time. What about you, Matt? I want to know how you feel about Kingdom Hearts.
So, I played it when it came out, which was what, 2002.
I think 2002.
So I was 13 at the time. Yeah, no, the TV spot was really the first time I ever saw it in that song that came on, which has been in how many different Kingdom Hearts games now?
9.
But I noticed on the TV spot and everything that they're Final Fantasy characters. I'm like, whoa, because like this is fresh off of me finally finishing Final Fantasy 7 on my own. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, there's Final Fantasy characters. I want to get into this. So I picked up the game not knowing anything about Kingdom Hearts. I knew there were Disney characters, but that didn't turn me off or anything like that. I don't know why. We'll get into that later. I love the game, but holy God, having only lateral camera controls tied to L2 and R2 or L1, R1 on the controller was frustrating to say the least.
Yeah.
The story though, the story definitely gripped me in a way that I'm still a Kingdom Hearts fan to this day, even though how complicated it's gotten, which, you know, Alex, like you said, Metal Gear Solid is also one of my favorite series as well, and that definitely gets convoluted at times as well.
At times? Within the first 15 minutes, my dude.
But yeah, the story, the music, just the fantastical majesty of the game, and it is very hopeful, as you were saying. There's only a few dark moments in the game, but anytime those moments show up, it's met with like, no, we can do this, we can overcome it. And the game has a very great message in that, like, you can overcome darkness in your heart, and you shouldn't let that engulf you. And as someone who has had multiple bouts of depression, like, that's always a great game to play if you're ever in a dark mood. It's like, oh,
agreed.
Like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So, no, I absolutely love the game. I replayed Kingdom Hearts 1, first time I ever played Final Mix. Even though I have the HD remix on PS3, I never touched Kingdom Hearts 1. But so on PS4, I finally played through. I think I had 60% of the trophies or something. So I did like and appreciated the new story beats. Yeah, I still don't know if that stuff with Kairi and like the Hollow Bastion was original, because I thought that was new when I played the HD remix.
It's not like there's only a couple of things. It's specifically in the Tarzan world, when you have to collect slides. At some point, one of the slides that you look at with Jane is a slide of a castle, and Sora's like, I feel like I've been here before. Or I feel like I've seen this before. And then at some point, Sora remembers a children's tale told to Kairi.
Right, like there's a scene in the library of Hollow.
In the library of Hollow Bastion. I'm pretty sure that's for sure in the original version of the game. Because like the stuff they added for the remix was like Riku's story, just to give a little bit more context of like, you know, when Destiny Islands was engulfed. Yeah, he ended at Hollow Bastion, like pretty much on the other side of the worlds, excuse me.
Universe.
And the universe. What? And also obviously the setup for Kingdom Hearts 2.
In which, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 is very much a closed story. Like there is that ending, and secret ending and all that stuff, but if there wasn't another Kingdom Hearts game, that one still would have held up. Like, there aren't plot holes that we're aware of yet.
Yeah.
With everything that they've gone back and tweaked and said, no, this is actually what happened. This is who that is. And so on and so forth. So, even still replaying the game now, like, it still loved it. Especially loved the new camera control. It made grinding a lot easier once you figure out where you need to do that stuff. So it was a lot more enjoyable this time around. Even though I loved playing the original, it definitely got frustrating, especially at the end of the world when you have to do all that platforming and stuff with the camera that was not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, still holds up. Still love it. Jake, what do you think?
So my experience with Kingdom Hearts was kind
Thank
of
you, Jake.
different. It was kind of different because I didn't buy a PS2 until after I graduated from high school. So it was after 2006. It might have been 2007. I bought a PS2 around the time PS3 was coming out, and I couldn't afford the PS3.
That would have been a year after PS3 came out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was,
and no one else could afford it.
No, it was like $600 at the time. Like, no, I'm good. So I'm like, I'll just buy a PS2, and everybody kept talking about Kingdom Hearts, and these are guys that were like into the Halo scene, into these like first person shooters, and they're like, play Kingdom Hearts, you're gonna love it. And I was someone who never really played Final Fantasy games at all. So I just know, like, okay, we got some characters from that series, and then we have Disney characters in here. So I played it, and I wasn't even expecting much out of it, and I was hooked first time just playing through this, and then realizing how all these characters actually build into all these different worlds and how they're interacting. And so that Kingdom Hearts made me look into Final Fantasy later, where I started having a very much appreciation for 7, because I started loving Cloud, and then doing the secret boss battles at the end with Sephiroth. I'm like, I need to learn more about this guy, because this guy, he's pretty tough. I need to know what his story is. So Kingdom Hearts just started a path into RPGs I've never really experienced before. I played RPGs like, Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo, but never like something like truly hardcore RPG. So this made me go more into my loves for RPGs, and then now I'm with like the Persona series and everything else. It's just now RPGs are like my absolute favorite, because this is like the one time with the story I felt such an emotional attachment to all these different characters, all the different stories. I instantly fell in love with Riku, and then him falling into the darkness. Like, I'm like, no, stop, don't do this. And then just seeing him further go. Recently playing it, I'm like, when he first starts, I'm like, you're just being a spoiled brat. Like,
Dude,
Sora
Riku
got
sucks
like,
in this game.
yeah, I'm like, dude, you're so mad that Sora got new friends. Like, that's all it is. You're so mad that he got new friends and he's hanging out with them. And that's all it feels like. I'm like, no, Riku, that's not.
Riku is a great character.
He is.
He is terrible in this game.
Very
it's very
terrible.
True to the age they're at, though. Like,
Oh,
your
yeah.
best friend,
Oh, yeah.
And like, there's 6 of you on an island. Well, apparently the island's a lot bigger than we're allowed to believe.
Well, it's one island off the
Oh.
shore of like an actual place.
Right.
Yeah.
Where Sora's mom is, and God knows where she thinks her son is this whole time.
She has one line the entire game.
Sora, dinner's ready, and then
Nothing.
else. She died. She said, Xehanort walks in the room and shoots her with a fucking gun. Dinner's ready, Sora.
Xehanort? What are you doing here?
Anyway.
Yeah. So all that is true, and it's canon now. It's now a part of the Kingdom Hearts universe. But yeah, like just going through this whole story of the emotional attachment, the music was like the first time I've ever felt like truly in love with music through a video game. This was like something I'm like, I need to go to LimeWire and download this right now, because I'm not paying for it.
Yeah. Damn, with the deep cuts.
So I kept listening to that soundtrack. Like, it was just, it stuck with me, and like to this day, like I remember the camera angles or just the camera controls being super bad. Scrolling down to have to open the chest to actually hit open, but now like with the final mix on PS4, even PS3, hitting triangle to open up a chest is just, God, so much better. Thank you for introducing that in Kingdom Hearts 2. I appreciate
Still can't
that.
open a chest when enemies are around in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Nope. Don't even bother. But with this game, like, I also appreciated all the secret bosses. I'm sure we'll talk about those later, but just knowing how many secret bosses you can fight was so awesome, and the hardest one being Sephiroth.
Yep.
Always the hardest. The only thing I did not appreciate about Sephiroth, especially later on in life, was finding out that Lance Bass from NSYNC was the
Lance
voice actor
Bass!
for Sephiroth. I'm like, nope, nope. Please don't ever do that again. Thank you.
Didn't have a lot of speaking lines, to be fair. So
No, that was the. I'm grateful for that. But overall, it's still in like one of my top 5 games of all time. I think I put Kingdom Hearts 2 in my top 5, but Kingdom Hearts 1 is the one that started everything
Right.
into this descent.
You have to give credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna ask, like, of the Kingdom Hearts games, which is your favorite? Tell both of you. For me, it's 2 Final Mix with a bullet, for sure. But
I haven't played 2 Final Mix yet, so 2
dude,
is
it's-
still at the top.
The final mix is pretty
It's-
good. It's phenomenal.
very good.
Well, I'm excited.
I do have to give a shout out to Dream Drop Distance, though. I didn't think I was gonna really like that game, but going through the stories about that, like it's very. I feel like it was underappreciated, especially at the time that it came out. But it's a good piece to draw everything together. But it's not going to be my favorite, but I do have to give that one a shout out. But Kingdom Hearts 2
we
is
should ask
definitely.
this question again at the end of our series, since
Yeah.
I played through it really good.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
ask it again after 3 comes out.
Yeah, because we all know what the answer will be. Still Kingdom Hearts 2 with a bullet.
It's just going to be a 5-second episode. It's still 2.
It really is going to depend on if Kingdom Hearts 3 has drive forms, which I feel like we would have known about by now, but
What? I feel like the drive forms are like those different types of weapons that he's
the
using.
Keyblade transformation.
Yeah. I'm just worried about this game a little bit, only because of looking how
Listen,
long
man.
if Final Fantasy 15 took. And then-
We're all worried about this game.
We are.
Here's my thing. You know, the game's been in development for 5 years. Like, it's not gone in any weird development
Right.
cycle type things, right? It's
Right.
just been straight 5 years, and that makes sense for a big game like this.
Yeah.
Japanese developed game, and also a game full of licenses. So
Yeah.
for me, I feel like the development cycle for that game has been pretty healthy, all things
Yeah.
considered.
That's true.
It's just a matter of, like, are you guys gonna take all the time you need, or are you gonna try and force this out in 2018?
I'm
Like,
kind
if
of.
they gotta delay it. Like,
Yeah.
just take your time, man.
Yeah, just delay it. Don't make a whole key event to show us the release date and then delay it anyways. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Tim Geddes.
Yes. I like my thing about just like where this falls. I like Kingdom Hearts 1 a lot. Like I said, I appreciate it a lot more. It's just mechanically, it doesn't hold up as much as 2.
Right.
That's why I'm curious. Like, I don't know what you remember of 2, Matt, but they rebalanced it a lot for Final Mix.
Oh,
Yeah, they
Yes.
they made
I
it
played
better.
the hell out of 2.
Hmm.
Like the game came out and I played it for like 2.5 days straight. Finished the game and then played it for a whole other game. Got the
Can I tell you-
ultimate weapon, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Level 100.
Yeah. Can I tell you what I did for 2?
Yeah.
For two, I had 2 separate save states. One was my normal playthrough. The other one was saved where I would fight Sephiroth over and over
Yep.
again. And then
I have
just
a save state still.
okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one because I just wanted to replay that fight scene over and over again.
I also have one for that opening fight with Roxas versus Axel
Yes.
when he gets the 2
Mm.
Keyblades. So I have a
Yes.
second save for that. Just 'cause I love that fight as well,
It's-
a lot too.
Yep. Such a good one.
Yeah, 2 is like the Final Mix version of 2 balances like the MP rage, like MP drive system a little bit more, so you like
Mhm.
get more drive back when you're in MP rage.
Yeah.
So that way you're basically building all your meters faster in that game, and it's real fun.
Yeah.
Versus like the original version of the game where it's a little bit slower, and also like the limit form and all that stuff that you wouldn't have seen yet is so good.
Is the Tron rolled still a bit of a drag?
Yeah. Damn it. It's more fun though. Because
I know it sucks because
all
like,
your meters
I love
are faster.
Tron, but-
I know.
Yeah.
I can't believe they got Bruce Boxleitner back as Tron, and I was like super excited for that. The only reason
He
I
did a
know
great job too.
only reason I know him is because my mom would always watch Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Like old show. A super old show. If nobody knows what that show is, I totally
No.
understand.
I have no idea, so there you go.
It's like a cop TV show. Like just look it up. if you can.
All
Just
right.
just look it up if you can. It's just it's a gem. It is a gem.
What I want to ask both of you is, like, do you have any lingering Kingdom Hearts 1 lore questions? So I'm like a lore epicenter. I have all of this knowledge in my head, and I can only use it for one thing.
This is why you're here.
Yeah.
I mean, not so much in 1 anymore. Like, you basically answered the part where Sora, Tisha the Heartless, gives up Kyrie's heart back to Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so many questions about Ansem and everything, but I think that's more of a later question for, I think probably 2 will probably be the one. Really.
Right, because there's not a lot of questions posed.
No.
The lore in 1.
Yeah.
I will say
it's not really until later.
I will say,
There are questions about everything.
Playing through recently and actually reading through all the Ansem reports and clicking on the last one and reading, they do talk about nobodies, and I never even seen that before, and I was like, wait, what? Just seeing that, I'm like, they actually call them nobodies, and like, that's awesome.
And that was added in that Ansem report was added in Final Mix.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I didn't remember that in the original game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. Like, they keep in mind Final Mix came out as like this re-release in Japan while they were developing 2. So
Right.
I mean, they had an idea of what they were doing, but
Yeah.
it was really rad to see that and to see that come together.
Because that Ansem report is connected to the unknown, which is really Xemnas.
Mm-hmm.
And
like, it's cool because that Xemnas fight is what he does right before the very opening scene of Kingdom Hearts 2, where he's like, I've been to see him.
Yeah.
He's like, he looks a lot like you. That was that fight.
Yeah.
Like, that was when he went to see him.
Yep.
So like, they really did tie it together.
Yep.
I
I never played that fight scene before, and like, just finally playing through that was actually a pretty cool fight. Like, it gets me excited to fight him again in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, and they use a lot of his boss mechanics from 2.
Yeah.
There's also, like, what's really cool is Xemnas, that fight in 2 actually uses like fight mechanics from Terra, the last remnant or whatever his armor is called in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix as well.
Wow.
There's like one mechanic and it's very similar, which also kind of bridging the gap between the history of those two characters. But the only other thing that's weird and that they set up as a mystery in 1, which I like, is the figure in the brown cloak on Destiny Island.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which they eventually answer in Dream Drop Distance. But that was like them seeding out of like, well, if this is Ansem in some form, and I don't want to necessarily spoil it for you, Matt, but that is Ansem in some form. But I won't like say like what it ends up being, but how did he get here and why is he here? And like, again, that all kind of ties together to who Xehanort is and where he comes from. So.
Shout out to Billy Zane.
I know.
Yeah.
I was so mad he wasn't in 2.
Doing work. He comes back though.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Because him with that voiceover, it was spot on. Like, he has a very unique voice, a very unique deep voice, and then he can actually do a little bit normal voice. Like later on, he does, like when you're in the fight scene with him in the darkness. Mm-hmm. But man.
Yeah, he comes back to voice all of the Ansem iterations of Ansem.
If you aren't confused now, you will be later in future episodes.
So he does a really good job.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad we're doing this because it also makes me go out play the ones I haven't finished. And stuff,
yeah.
So I'll have actually like first impressions when we're doing these.
That's good. I'm excited to hear what you think about the other games.
One who knows nothing understands nothing.
The only
and that is very true with this whole series.
Yeah, little bit now.
The only ones I've finished are 1, the original Chain of Memories. 2, I think that's it.
You can add 358. slash 2
358
days.
over 2 days.
Well, I mean, I watched the movie.
Oh, you watched? Oh, I thought you said you. Okay, you watched the movies.
No, I played a little bit of it and then I stopped because
Yeah.
that was rough.
It's just boring. That's the biggest bummer about
And I
it.
did
Yeah.
touch Coda just because it was a full game. I saw it and I was like, I'll just.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
PBS, I've only played through Terra's story, so I still need to go
Man.
through the other ones. Yeah, it can be fun.
You got a lot left to see, man.
Yeah. There's a lot to go through.
You got a lot of layers left to peel back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even know how wild this story gets.
Oh no, it gets like I can't wait for us to talk about Birth by Sleep because I still have like some questions. But I probably should have finished back when I played it. I played through Terra and Vince's story, and I didn't finish Aqua's because
Right,
I found
so
Aqua to be
there's-
super boring.
There's Aqua
Really?
and there's the thing that unlocks after you.
Yeah, the final
Yeah,
chapter.
The final chapter. Yep.
So
Man.
you'll be right there with me on that one, Jake.
Hmm.
I love Aqua in that game too, so I'm
I'm
curious to see if going back to it.
I'm
you feel
hoping.
better.
Yeah, I'm hoping I feel better about it. I just remember during that time, maybe I was just burnt out by playing the game like twice over and then having to play its Aqua. I'm like,
Again.
yeah, just one more time. I was like,
That's
eh.
why I stopped because like I went directly into Ventus and I'm like, I'm gonna take.
But I will say, like going through those games, yeah, you have certain parts that are the same, but every storyline felt different in a good way
Yeah.
going through. So I am excited to go back through those.
You guys wanted to talk about the trophies in this game?
I
correct?
do, because little did I know that they made it easier on the PS4 version. So guess what I did last night up until 2:30 in the morning.
Were you grinding out levels, trying to get to level 100?
Nope,
doing
even
some gummy ship
worse.
missions?
I was doing all the gummy ship missions, and I did every single gummy ship mission 3. I got every single blueprint, and I was waiting for a trophy to pop up, and I'm like, "Where's this trophy?" Like, and I re-uploaded it, and I just did everything. I was like, "I got all the gummies. Where's this trophy?" Go through my trophy list. Oh, you got it 2 days ago, where it's only collect 30 or more gummy ship blueprints. I'm like,
Whoops.
And don't you only have to finish one level 3 mission for that
Yep.
trophy?
"Yep,
And those level 3 missions are a nightmare.
they are."
my
I did the one from Hollow Bastion to End of the World where you can only have 2
Oh.
pieces, 2 gummy pieces, and take no damage.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that, my man.
I did it. I did all the missions. They said, "Hey, good jobs. Here's this one chip, and then why don't you try it on Kingdom Hearts Proud mode?" I'm like, no, never again will I do these gummy missions ever again. So,
I mean, shout out to you for actually doing
oh my
it.
god, I can't believe I just
I'll say this though. Oh, go ahead. Actually,
no,
Why
I was
don't you
just
finish?
I was just so mad that I had the PS3 version of trophies in my mind, so I kept going through them, but they made the trophies a lot easier in the PS4 version. So, and the difficulty trophies stack that I didn't even know until I actually beat the game, and then I'm like, wait, I got the trophy for beginner and final. I'm like, son of a bitch.
So, do you only have Speedster left?
I have Speedster. For some reason, I did not get the trophy for not using a continue, and I never used a continue throughout the whole entire game.
Weird.
Yeah, so that one didn't pop, so I have to do that again. And then I have to do Proud, Speedster, not changing my equipment, and I believe that's it.
You got all the Donald staffs. And
I got
goofy-
everything. Oh, dude.
Okay.
And one, I got Donald's staff from less than 300 wizards. The defender took
Okay.
me over 1,200. I had to destroy 1,200 defenders in order to get Goofy's stupid shield.
I haven't looked at my stats to see how long it took, but it took a long time.
It took a long time. That was
I mean,
the
you gotta
most
get
annoying.
to level 100 one way or the other, you know.
I was already level 100 by the time I was grinding this stupid thing.
Well,
So I'm just collecting.
you.
So I'm just collecting money, and I'm like, no, I'm already max money, so I'm just doing this.
And you were using the rare drop ability?
I had everything equipped. I had everyone's jackpot, lucky strike. I had everything equipped. I had to keep going and keep grinding.
so let me tell you this. And this might make you feel better about playing it twice again to get these damn trophies. Proud mode's hard. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. That's tough, but I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good challenge. Keep in mind you can also skip Atlantica if you wanted to. or Halloween Town, whichever one of those two. Gosh, I wonder which one of those two you want to skip. But when you do a playthrough on easy mode, which would I recommend for the don't change your equipment thing, because I cannot imagine doing it any other way.
No.
I think it's like plus. It's like 8 to 10 plus strength and plus defense, and then 8 plus AP. So you can just buff yourself up way big right from the get-go.
Yeah. Just yeah.
Which is super nice.
Yeah. That's one thing. Shout out to that whole beginning scene, asking you what you'd rather have: the shield, sword, or the staff. Mm-hmm. I never realized what those three meant until like playing through it recently. Like
I had the player's guide as a kid.
Yeah, I never did.
All your abilities and everything.
Yeah, I never knew that's what all that meant. And I was like, I just want strength. Well, that's kind of dumb to really do.
Yeah, I always go for sword and shield.
Yeah, because I never realized choosing like, I think Donald's staff. If you choose the staff, you get certain abilities way earlier than you would doing it different ways.
Your magic gets buffed way more.
Yeah, and
honestly,
leaf
staff
bracer.
Is like leaf bracer right away.
Need that.
Staff, if you're doing proud mode, I've never done it, but staff is kind of like what people accept as the best choice because the magic is so overpowered in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about that, for my proud mode playthrough, I did shield and then I gave up magic. So, I picked shield. I gave up strength. And I ended up being fine.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, I always pick sword, give up staff.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I would normally do, but some of these, like with proud mode, I think I'm gonna do it a different way just so I can get some of these abilities a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Because waiting, I think it was like level 69, you get leaf bracer if you choose sword, and that's forever, and that's actually an absolute necessity in this game. Trying to heal yourself. So. You get it relatively early if you pick the shield as well, I'll say. So. Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, I like the trophies in that game are rough.
They're very rough. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. read through the actual trophies. Don't go through the PS3 trophy guides because it's a lot different.
I'm curious if like you would feel differently about the Kingdom Hearts 2 trophy list. I don't know if it's better or worse, honestly.
Is it?
'Cause I did Kingdom Hearts 2 first, so.
Is the difficulty trophies stacked in 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So feasibly, you could beat it once on critical mode, and get all the difficulty trophies, but up to you.
The one thing I did not like about the PS3 version was you had 6 different difficulties to go through, and you had to play through every single one. I'm like, I'm not playing that game 6 times over to get the platinum. There's no way.
Yeah.
I love that game, and I don't want to ruin it by doing that.
But yeah, what I ended up doing is I just did a proud mode playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I did everything in it. And then the only trophy I had left was beat it on critical.
Yeah.
And I just mainlined it on critical and beat it. So,
yeah, that's the way to do it. So
I'll say, doing the speedrun thing for Kingdom Hearts 1, I got the Hollow Bastion in 4 hours and 15 minutes. So
as long as you skip the cutscenes, gotta skip the cutscenes.
Yeah. Which you couldn't do in the original version of the game. Also, just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
They added that in Final Mix.
Thank God.
Cutscenes.
Yeah.
Glorious.
Like, if you're playing through it for the first time, don't skip the cutscenes. Just don't.
Obviously.
But if you played through it, and if you've known this game for years, and you're trying to do the speedrun, definitely gotta skip those.
Speaking of cutscenes,
that secret cutscene at the end. Deep dive. What a segue.
And for Final Mix was on that aside another story, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
You play that entire game, and like Kingdom Hearts has its own style and stuff, but none of it looks like sleek Matrix ass stuff and dual wielding keyblades. It's like, why couldn't I do that during the game?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
It was like you never thought of it too.
No. And then they introduced dual wielding keyblade. I'm like, what?
Give it to me now.
Is this
Yeah.
real life?
Like after seeing that, it's like, oh, I want it now. I want
Yeah.
it right now.
Especially those
and
two keyblades together. Looks so sick.
It was just, it looked nothing like the game you just played. Just a rain scene, black leather, and dual wielding keyblades. I'm like, what game is this?
Mm-hmm.
I want this. I want to play this. And that wasn't the next game we got.
No. But you can see they were going for it. I mean, they did up the zipper count by at least
Right?
20%,
Yeah. No, they gave us the coats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
those at least.
We did get dual wielding keyblades if you use a certain drive. But
Most of the drive forms, one might say.
yeah.
3 of them
Mm-hmm.
have dual wielding, but that's in 2. But I mean, like,
But
that
for
wasn't
now,
the game
but
we got Chain of Memories next.
yes,
Our nice little interstitial story.
something about that. I mean, for those endings, like I never really saw those endings when I first played through. They were something that I ended up like YouTubing later,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing those, and I'm like, I want to see these like actually on console, and so being able to have this final mix, boy, they still look great, especially
Yeah, they do.
they look so
Especially
good.
that Kingdom Hearts 2 one.
Yeah.
It's the thing, I didn't mention this earlier, but like my older brother is who got me into Kingdom Hearts. And he was like way into it. And I'm like, I'm there now, where I don't know if he's still there today. So we've kind of reversed roles on that. But he's the one that like spent hours and hours getting all this stuff, doing all the synthesis, and beating all the extra bosses and doing everything so that he could get that full deep dive cutscene. So it was cool kind of seeing everything through his lens and watching along as he did all these cool things as a youngin'. And then going back and being as into it as I am now and doing it all myself as well. So
I'll also say this is the first time I ever had the ultimate weapon in Kingdom Hearts 1 in this playthrough I recently did. I've never had
hella overpowered.
It really is. I never realized. I think I remember like in my first time playing through, I only used I think I used Oathkeeper like all the way through the end, and I never changed
Gotta
it.
use Oblivion, man.
Yeah, man, Oblivion.
Yeah, I never knew why I wanted Oathkeeper. I never understood that.
It's because you want to keep your promise to Kyrie. I get it.
I did want to keep my promise. I'm like, I can't change this. It's like you get Oblivion right after. Like, which one do I choose? Like, I just got this one. This one looks really cool, but I got to make my promise to Kyrie. I don't know.
I got this promise I kept to this girl I know, but this is metal and rad. And
Right?
I don't know.
And going back through, I never knew how helpful Divine Rose was. I never really used Divine Rose, but using it through this gameplay was like, ooh, this is a really good Keyblade. Really like that one.
Strong agree.
Yeah. And the synthesis I felt like was much easier this time around, maybe just because I knew what I was doing and what enemies to go for. But I feel like synthesis
in 1, I only did a little bit the first time I played it, and I've done more now, but it's nothing like synthesis in 2.
No.
I felt farming in 2 is way easier.
Yeah, it's way easier. I remember getting the ultimate weapon in 2, like I didn't even try. Like you get the ultimate.
You don't really have to.
Yeah.
It's like the final mix stuff in 2, I'll say that you really have to work for.
Yeah. Like some of the final mix enemies in 2 or in 1, actually there's just one. Sniper Wilds really ticked me off. Ticks me right off. Man. Hated that one. I think that was the hardest one for me recently, but after getting everything, just getting all the synthesis, getting everything through the Muggles?
Muggles.
But getting through and then finally getting the ultimate weapon, I felt more accomplishment in this game than I did in 2.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a struggle in this one. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So
I'll say the extra bosses that you get to see in Final Mix 2. Because I mentioned a little bit, I think before we started recording, like the extra bosses in 2 are probably my favorite extra bosses in any video game. Beating those is some of the most gratifying things I've ever done in a video game.
Yeah.
So.
And now I can't wait to play 2.
Hell yeah, dude.
Now I can't wait, but
we
got to
play Chain of Memories.
Yeah, Chain of Memories is first. Chain of Memories is first. I played through a little bit of it. I never beat the game, so I'm excited to actually beat this game.
Yeah, I've never played through Recom, so that'll actually be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it brings us to our last topic. This is something more about back when the game came out, as opposed to right now, where I think almost everyone loves Kingdom Hearts now. But when the game came out, there were a lot of people hating on it just because it's Disney characters. Like, this isn't an RPG I want to play. There's Disney characters. Why are there Disney characters in it? There was a lot of hate surrounding the game.
They were wrong.
They were very wrong.
They're totally wrong. Yeah.
I was actually one of those haters because I'm like, why do I want to play with Disney characters? Why do I want to be with these characters? Like that, this game won't make sense. I was right on one part.
Well,
but this won't work. And it works very well. Actually, in this last playthrough, I never swapped out my party from Donald, Sora, and Goofy.
Yeah, I always keep them there.
I keep them there, but the one secret boss, the Phantom, you have to switch out one of them for in order to fight him.
Well, yeah,
but
fan.
Yeah. And I forgot how much he yells out, "Glue-coo-coo!" Like, dude.
It's so cool though. Like, I loved having Beast in your party and Aladdin and Tarzan. Like, it's so cool. It's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
I think it works super well, especially like seeing like you'll have five party members, 2 from the world, and Donald and Goofy in Kingdom Hearts 3 is so cool.
Can I just say
rad.
These characters really never questioned why all this was happening.
Hell no, man.
they accepted it. Yeah, they accepted it. Like, no, this seems legit. We're okay.
What I love the most is that Sora himself is just a Disney character. Like, the way he acts, the way he animates and gesticulates, he's just a Disney character. Of all of the original Kingdom Hearts characters, he is Disney to his bone.
Yeah.
With his like highfalutin attitude and his kind of blase-ness to all the weird shit going on. He's just here for it, and I love that.
Yep. I agree. So for all you haters, you're wrong. This game is great. 3 is going to be amazing. And you can't tell me differently.
He introduced me into Final Fantasy, of which I beat 7 before he did. So,
what's up, nerd?
But when I showed him Kingdom Hearts, he's like, "No, this is stupid. Like, this is like a kid's game." I'm like, "No, this is not a kid's game. Like, I swear
really not."
No, it's not.
I don't understand the plot of Kingdom Hearts.
I'm like, I had to go to the internet to understand this game.
But it was such an experimental game, and it has time, and yeah, haters lost.
Yeah,
haters lost.
Yep. And then we got 1.5, and then we got 2, and then we got all these other ones. Haters lost.
Let me tell you about 2.5 final chapter, 2.8 final chapter prologue. No, what's even cooler is like looking at Kingdom Hearts 3 today. If you think about Disney in 2002 when Kingdom Hearts 1 came out versus Disney in 2018 when presumably Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out, like, it is a very different world we live in, where Disney is kind of like one of the most powerful companies in the world.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're letting Kingdom Hearts exist is really cool and really exciting. And it's just like this weird, odd RPG thing that exists, and I'm just so happy it does.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you, Disney.
Exactly.
Thank you, Disney.
Thank you, Square Enix. We appreciate
Shout out
you.
to Bob Iger out there trying to cause some political intrigue.
God.
Now I brought it down. Bring me back up.
So, Matt, do you want to let the viewers know what's next?
So, next up in our limited edition Kingdom Hearts series is going to be another side, another story, where we're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Rechain of Memories, for those of us who even touched Chain of Memories. And we're also going to be talking about 356?
58.
Slash 2
358.
days.
So how is that game ever supposed to be named? Like, is it really 358/2 days? Is it 358 out of 2 days?
believe
Like,
it's
I don't know.
358 over 2 days.
Over 2 days, yeah. Like,
That is how I refer to it.
just like Kingdom Hearts X is really Kingdom Hearts Key.
Key. Yeah.
Let me say about key, unchanged key. Anyway,
So yes, thank you for listening or watching, and tune in next time when we will talk about those games.
And look where we are. This is a nice overlay. It's something new for our podcast.
yeah, I can see it. I can totally see it.
Sorry, audio listeners. Alex, where can we find you? Since you're new to our 3BF podcast.
Yeah, I host a video games podcast. It's called Irrational Passions Podcast. It's a product of irrationalpassions.com, a website of which I am the editor. You can go read some cool stuff that me and my team have written there. Very, very talented people write for that website. I encourage you to go check that out and give a read. For example, today, the day we're recording this, video review of Moonlighters went up. Moonlighters is a video game that is hella great. It's maybe one of my favorite games that's come out in 2018. Mike Burgess did a great review of it. You should go check it out. And I also host a show called Get Acquainted. It's a one-on-one interview show where I sit down and talk with people I think are cool. Most recent episode, we made a bunch of E3 predictions, and Lord knows, I hope I got some right. So go check those out.
We did that too, and I
Yeah, we
made
just
some
had
outrageous predictions.
I've already been wrong on a couple of things, so don't worry about it.
Matt, are we doing half points on this?
We haven't been talking about the betting table.
I know, we did it. God.
But apparently, it really looks like Devil May Cry 5 is a shoe-in. So
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Sorry, man, I didn't believe in it either.
Like it was always a pipe dream. Like last year, they dangled it with us at the Marvel's Capcom Infinite thing.
Yeah, it was always one of those outrageous predictions that, hey, it might happen this year. Not really, but
I still don't entirely believe it until I see it.
yeah. Just like Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts 3. I don't believe there's a
I'll
release date
listen to
until...
that shit.
Man, Monday morning, Square Enix direct press event, whatever they're calling it. It's gonna be real.
It's I
If
can't
they
wait.
show it there, and they don't show it at Sony.
Or Microsoft.
Oh God. How is that? Maybe that's a conversation
we're
for
gonna-
another
well,
time.
that
That's there's another conversation later on. Way later.
Jake, where can we find you?
Jake P47 on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Follow. Matt.
And I have been Matthew or MC Wright, and you can find me at Shivs2 on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you all for listening and watching, and we'll be back very soon.
Bye.
There's always light in your heart. Never forget. Bye.
Never forget.